This is Eyes Wide Open, officially episode 1.
Yes.
It's me, Devan, and we're here with co-host
Julian K.
That'll work, Julian K. Alright, so we were talking a little bit earlier before the filming started. We got today we're filming Saturday actually. We got the UFC fights going on.
Yeah.
Give a couple picks, a couple thoughts. Let's just go from the bottom here on the main card. What do you think about Mike Malott and Trevor Giles?
I think he already won, but I had Mike Malott. I think he's a pretty good prospect. He does have some issues with his gas tank, but after a performance like he had with Neil Magny, where he got finished in the last 15 seconds because he couldn't hold on, I think that he would obviously want to overcompensate for that and work on his cardio. So I thought he was going to win by decision. I'm pretty sure that he did. So
yeah, I think I'm looking at it right. Yeah, he did win by decision, but to be honest, I don't really know most of these guys.
he's good. Mickey Gall. Yeah, he KO'd him.
Okay, Mickey Gall, you know, he's kind of he's brought into
CM
give
Punk.
CM Punk a gentle transition that didn't work out too well. CM Punk. Anyway, let's move on. It's old news. But I'm a casual. I know I call them name brand fighters.
Yeah.
Where like the casual people know about. The smaller guys I don't really pay attention too much until they get on the main card. So, you know what?
I like Figueiredo a lot. Shout out Figueiredo.
Figueiredo's good. Figueiredo's good. I mean, he's got. The thing was too. He has personality, but he doesn't speak English. I think if he spoke English, he would be a big star.
He has this is like a newer term, so feel free to add this to your repertoire. Aura. He has aura, so he doesn't speak English, but people kind of like they get. He has like that presence to him.
He does have a presence. And like I don't want to invoke the name Conor McGregor, but I think Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He has a thing, because the thing is though, what makes Conor McGregor famous? There was fighters before him that had that personality, had that brash attitude, but no, it didn't really take. Conor came out and it was like people just loved him for some reason. Yeah. So there's other fighters that have that. I think Figueiredo is one of those. That where if he spoke English, I think you'd have a big fan base because he just has that, like you said, aura.
I think part of it is like they deliver. Like if you look at Figueiredo's actual fights, he did lose a couple with Brendan Moreno, but he's one of those guys that just like they have that death touch. You know, if you watch those Joseph Benavidez fights, both of them that he had, that was almost legalized murder. Okay, there was a point I felt bad for Joseph Benavidez.
I like Benavidez. That's the thing. That's why I kind of started off being a Figueiredo hater. Yeah, because you always start off that way. Everybody hated Rampage when he knocked out Chuck because we love Chuck. Yeah, and now we're like, you know, I was a Benavidez fan. I love Benavidez. And then I saw him like, who's this guy beating up my dude here? And yeah exactly. So you fall into that little bit.
Just that he cocked back the right hand. You knew he was going to throw it, and it didn't even matter. He still just flattened him with it.
But one thing is true though, like you said, they do have to deliver. Yeah, and that's the thing. All the guys, because there's guys that talk trash, and it doesn't work if you get beat up. Yeah. Like Conor McGregor.
I think it's worse if you get beat up after like talking up a big game, accruing like excitement for your fight, and then you don't deliver. You kind of get like you're shadow realmed. No one's gonna pay attention
because people are either gonna hate watch you or love watch you, and either way. The hate watchers, once they see you get beat up, they don't watch anymore. You're done. You've already satisfied their urge for blood. So that was.
I think that's kind of what happened to Colby. You know,
Covington.
Yeah, he's fallen off in terms of popularity.
Wins, but he's a decision guy. And the last fight, the thing.
That was a terrible fight. Leon versus Colby. That I did not like that fight.
Colby Covington.
I think he broke his foot or something.
Hey, though. Colby's local.
Yeah. Colby, if you ever see me in the gym.
I've heard Colby is actually, I don't want to give it away. I know he's got a character. I heard he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've heard he's a nice guy. He used to train the same gym as me. We've never trained together. We've never even spoken to each other because he's always doing his camp and everything. And I saw him one time hanging out at a Whole Foods. Yeah. And he just seemed like a chill dude, whatever.
You think you could take him?
No. I can't. The thing is, though, I'm not delusional.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I know there's certain guys I could beat in certain aspects, but I'm a wrestler. Colby's a much better wrestler. Yeah. So he's already neutralizing my game. So come on, you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So I have no shot because he could out wrestle me, and he's a bigger guy. He's a little bit bigger guy. I mean, I walk around 175. He probably walks around about 180. Something like that, maybe. He fights at 170, right?
Yeah.
And he says he doesn't cut too much. He doesn't cut too much weight. So he probably about maybe 180 the most. 10 pounds is easy cut for a fighter.
Remember when I was like 205, dude? That was fun. When I was like 200 something, like just a little bit above it. Yeah, that was
that's a lot of weight.
I'm 180 right now, though.
It happens in wrestling, though.
Yeah.
When I wrestled, my college wrestling weight was 165. Off season, I was about 215.
Yeah,
it's like when you cut a lot of weight, it's like you blow up.
I didn't even feel like super obese or anything, but just like I would stand on the scale and it would be like 201 or 202, and I would be like, how did this happen? Like it just
you know what? You don't notice your size either. Like someone told me when I was coaching that I was fat at one point. I'm like, fat? I was never fat. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I look back at some of the old pictures. When I was coaching high school wrestling, and I was like 215 pounds, but I never felt fat, but I'm like 5'8". Yeah. So I saw the pictures, I'm like, oh, I guess I could interpret that as being fat. Yeah. I mean, you said you were what, 215 at one point?
No, I was like under 210, but like
under 210, but you're 5'10", 5'11"?
I'm 5'9" and a half barefoot, so I mean that's basically
5'10", so 5'10".
Might as well say 6 foot, and I mean if you're 6 foot, that's the new 6'1". So for the ladies out there, 6'1".
6'1". 6'1". Yeah. So you're much taller than me, and I was 5 pounds heavier. Yeah. So imagine what that looks like.
Yeah, that must have been crazy.
Yeah. But you don't realize it because the thing is, like something when you're gaining weight, you gain weight slowly.
Yeah, it's small increments.
Yeah, it's not like if I woke up today at 175 pounds and I was 215, I'll be like, holy hell, what happened to me?
Yeah.
But if I go from 175 to 180 to 190 to 200,
you don't really notice.
You don't notice anything
because you're getting used to what you look like, but you're not aware of that, So every day you're looking somewhat different, and you're becoming more adjusted to what you look like at that day because there's not much of a difference. And so eventually, the end product is you being like, you still are normal, like you look normal to yourself, but you're significantly different than you looked, a month or 2 months prior.
It's the same thing with aging.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, I look really young, and it's like, it's like compared to who?
Yeah.
Because it happens too when you get to like you'll be like 35 years old. Well, you'll be there one day, but
hopefully, yeah.
at a certain point, you'll meet somebody and you're like, how old are you, kid? Like what, 17? It's like, dude, I'm 28. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Because you see people and they look so young. And you realize, oh my goodness, I must be really old because this kid looks like a friggin' elementary school kid to me or a middle school kid.
Yeah. No, you've said stuff like this in the past, and it puts the fear in me, man. Because I think about it, I'm like, oh man, the gap between 16 and 20, it went like this. Like I can remember a lot of stuff when I was 16. Like it feels fairly recent, It feels like that gap wasn't that like it wasn't that long ago that I was 16.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's increasing. Like that time is moving by even faster. The older that I get is exponential. Exactly. Yeah. Like this year, for example, I turned 20 in March, and it's already November now. Uh-huh. So I'm gonna be 21 in only a couple months. It's like what, 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
Like
that's
I would always like my father-in-law. He would tell a story, and he would say, "Oh wait a minute, was that in 1985 or 2000?" I'm like, that's 15-year difference.
Yeah.
The difference
you
between...
You said 75 or 85?
I said 85.
That's 15.
15-year difference, yes. 15 years. Fact check, right?
I was
in real time.
I was in the gifted program.
There we go. Gifted kid right here. He got it. So 15-year difference, and I'm like, that's such a huge gap.
Yeah.
But then, as I get older, I found myself telling the same story. Not as big a gap, but I'll be like...
But you're approaching it somewhat.
That was either 98 or 2003, and I'm like, holy crap, it's a big gap there. It's a big gap. That's 5 years. That's huge. Well, yeah, it happens, man. The time, especially. Let's get back to these fights.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on with the
fight?
Yeah,
we got some exciting women's events or fights rather.
All right, let's just skip over those.
What are you talking about? I'm sure we have a large viewer base of Erin Blanchfield.
We got Erin Blanchfield and Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
Namajunas. What do you got for that one?
I got Namajunas. I think Blanchfield fought Firo. Is that how you pronounce her name? Firo, something like that. The French chick. I'm pretty sure that's who she fought.
Oh, the French. And I did see that one.
I remember the second that it was established that she was not going to take her down at will. She just kind of fell apart. Like all she was doing was reaching with all her punches, getting countered. She just got sloppy out of there. Like once her main component to her game got taken away, it was pretty much smooth sailing for her opponent. And we were talking about that with Topuria. The reason that Topuria is so successful right now is because he's so well-rounded. He's elite in his boxing, his striking, but if he needs to, he can always return to what he's that ace that he has, which is his grappling, his offensive.
Yeah, it's good to be well-rounded because then if the other guy has any holes in this game, you just exploit those.
Like Zalal, we were talking. Zalal fought on this card.
Yeah.
He was outstriking Topuria, and Topuria at some point decided, all right, I'm just going to take you down.
I'm just going to wrestle.
I'm going to wrestle, and he easily won that. He won, I believe it was 30-27 or something like that decision.
So you see, you got Rose?
Yeah, I got Rose. I think she's going to be able to keep it standing. I don't see Blanchfield just taking her down and mauling her. I mean, I could be wrong. She did do that to, I think she finished Andrade, right?
Maybe.
And Andrade's,
I guess as good as mine.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm asking you. I'll just ask my, subconscious, I guess.
Well, if you got Rose, I get the other girl.
Yeah, it's pretty much a pick-em with this one. Who else is fighting?
Well, at the top of the card, this one is interesting. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. That's the guy, Albazi. Ooh.
Yeah, Albazi's, I think he's kind of underrated, and it's mostly because no one likes him. Sorry, Amir Albazi, if you're watching this, I just feel like people don't like him because the judges gave a fight to him that is widely agreed upon.
You can't blame the guy.
Exactly. I don't think that's really fair. But that's just how the community is. For sports and especially MMA.
It's like blaming a football player because he got a good call on the field.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. So, I mean, he had a decent performance with Kai Kara-France. He was able to outstrike him at certain points. But the thing is,
he beat Kai Kara-France?
Yeah, he beat him by a close decision.
Oh, this is an interesting fight.
But the thing is, Moreno KO'd Kai Kara-France. He body kicked him, TKO'd him on the ground. But the thing is, again, there's more nuance to this because Brandon Moreno in his previous fight, he looked a step behind, and I don't know if it's the weight cut.
Yeah, I did see that too. Because I was a big Moreno fan.
Yeah, I noticed that. One of the best things about Moreno's game is that his pocket boxing. Like he's very, very fast. Like he throws the same side. And a lot of MMA fighters are not familiar with a fighter that doesn't just throw left, right, left, right, left, right. Someone throws that left, left. That makes them ask questions. The person that's getting punched.
It's that Mexican in him, huh?
Exactly.
He's all Mexican.
Canelo genetics, but but in a 125er. But I noticed when he fought Royval, he kind of he was reduced to an overhand. Like he was striking at first. I wonder
how old is Moreno?
I'm not sure. He's not too old though. I think he's at most like 34, 33.
He's 30. He's 30. He's young. Now here's the thing, flyweight. The smaller the weight class, the younger the fighters. Yeah. I imagine a flyweight 30 is getting a little bit not old, but he's already had the belt.
Yeah.
So I think for Moreno, if he doesn't perform in this fight, I think it's time for him to move up one weight class.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Figgy did it, and he looked great. He beat Cheeto. He dropped him. He was the first guy to drop Cheeto. Oh, man,
I hated that fight because I'm a huge Cheeto. I'm a Cheeto Vera fan.
Nah, man,
Cheeto is my guy, man.
I like Cheeto. The thing is, I didn't like him at first, but I watched the Rob Font performance.
I think we saw that fight together, didn't we? During at the barbecue. I think we saw that was Cheeto because I was cheering for Cheeto.
I think we may have watched that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Where he was just hitting him with the sweet chin music and stuff like that.
Yeah, and everybody kept on saying Cheeto's a slow starter. He's gonna get it going.
Oh no, that was Sean O'Malley versus.
That was Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto. Oh yeah, that's another one I hated, man. I wanted Cheeto to win that fight.
Yeah, that was bad.
I'm not a Sean O'Malley hater. I like Sean O'Malley.
I'm
just a big Cheeto fan. I'm a Cheeto guy.
I think Sean's pretty good. I think he performed under his like capability against Merab, but I did remember hearing that he injured his hip. The reason that I say this is because towards the end, the 5th round, he still looked like he wasn't tired.
Yeah,
he had energy, and I saw that he hurt him with one teep to the body, like visibly. Merab begins to cover up his body, cower around the cage and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Merab, that's kind of a negative term to use, but for lack of a better word, he was cowering, kind of like, oh, shit, this guy just kicked me in my body,
Yeah.
But
Merab is a little bit one-dimensional.
Yeah, I think Merab's really good. I think he's a really good fighter. He's elite at what he does, which is basically like he pressures, he grinds you down with his wrestling. He doesn't even need to like only use top control and have like very good offensive grappling. He'll let you up. Throw a couple punches, shoot again, take you down, and he'll do that 100 times. He'll do that 100 times until you have nothing left, and he already won the decision.
I do have to say, so I'm not a huge O'Malley fan.
Yeah.
But he has impressed me. Because I was never on the O'Malley train. I thought he was overhyped.
Yeah.
Right? Just being honest. Thought he was overhyped, and I thought he was going to fizzle out. But his fighting spoke for itself. It's like the guy just kept on getting better. Because I think we were talking about it during the Cheeto fight. Or one of the fights we were talking about it. That I was like, I think O'Malley's going to lose this fight. Oh, no, actually, it wasn't you. I was talking to somebody else about it. They were saying that O'Malley's going to run through Merab. And I was like, you know what? I think it's going to be a real competitive fight. Just because if you would have asked me about this a year ago, I thought Merab would just maul him to death. But I was like, every time O'Malley comes out and I think he's going to get killed, he looks better. Yeah. It's because he's young, and I think it's because he's one of those guys that he talks a lot of trash and he might act like goofy, but I think when he gets to that gym, he puts in the work.
Yeah, and you can tell that there's grit there. Like if you watch the Jan fight, he got hurt one time and he won the 3rd round. Like basically what happened the 1st round was fairly close. Sean edged it with a little bit of the striking, I guess, octagon control. It's debatable whether or not that contributes to the final score.
Yeah.
The scoring is in MMA is kind of atrocious. Sal D'Amato, I wish. Dude,
you're trying to start beef with Sal
D'Amato. If you're watching this, I'm calling you out, buddy. Dude.
That's all him, so I don't know anything.
He doesn't want that. He doesn't.
I don't want the smoke, man. I'm
Sal D'Amato
neutral.
He got to be a bad motherfucker to consistently put his name next
funny
to those scores.
Because you mentioned the name, and I always hear it. And he's because is he the one that's usually off?
Yeah, dude. It's almost like he is intentionally doing this. Like it has to be intentional. Oh, that guy definitely, lost that fight. I think I'm going to give it to him 30-27 just to switch things up. Like, dude.
Just to switch things up.
Just to switch, like, it's absurd. Any card I see that there's Sal D'Amato or Chris Lee to a lesser extent, I'm already preparing myself. I'll put it like that. I'm already preparing myself for what's in store. But, Jan. So he fought Jan the 1st round, fairly close. Jan got a takedown towards the end. But Sean O'Malley actually shot on him, took him down, and got to the back right at the end of the round. So I would give that to Sean.
Sean O'Malley, his jiu-jitsu is good.
It's not bad. I watched him. I'm not sure if I'm saying the right name because I'm not being prejudiced in saying this, but there's a lot of Takanori Gomi sounding names in a certain area towards the east. I might confuse a couple of these fighters.
You're talking about in Russia.
No. But a lot of like the Asian fighters have somewhat similar names, so I kind of confuse it. I think
only similar to us because we're uncultured.
Exactly. I'm used to like people being named like John, or to be more specific, like Jose. People ask me like, "Oh, do you know Jose?" And I'm like, "Dude, that does not narrow that down. I have like 3 family members named Jose. Like that doesn't." But, so the 2nd round, he got hurt, right? He got hurt, wobbled, not really dropped, but it's like he got hit with a punch super clean. He was like doing the chicken dance, and Jan took him down, controlled him the whole round. 3rd round, he gets out of his corner, and he busts Jan up like bad, like just a knee. Because the thing is, Jan has like a very traditional like high guard. He kind of tries to see the shots, block them. He tries to absorb them on his guard. Sometimes he moves his head, but he's very consistent with his high guard, ducking head movement. So Sean was able to like pull out that specific reaction and hit him with a knee on the side of his head.
You know what? I saw that. I saw that particular highlight.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the fight, but I saw that highlight.
And he busted him up bad, and that's what won him that round.
That's what I'm saying. O'Malley is just good. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
You cannot be denied. Somebody's good. You can't deny him.
There's some fighters that are somewhat like unlikable for whatever reason.
You know what? I wanted to get into that. What makes you like a fighter or dislike a fighter? I think it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
Let's go pull away from the fight for a little bit. People that like and dislike people. I'll give a quick story. When I was in the military, all right, I got to my unit. For some reason, had a first sergeant. If you guys don't know, like the first sergeant is a high-ranking guy. He's right next to the captain. So the captain is the officer, and the first sergeant is the NCO. First sergeant, for some reason, hated me. I have no idea. Didn't even know me. As soon as I arrived there, he was like, I hate that guy.
Lucky guess.
Yeah. So he was just all over. He just did not. He would just be against me with anything.
Yeah.
And I had no idea why. But on the other side, when he left, we came back from Iraq. We were here. We had a new first sergeant. This new first sergeant doesn't even know me. He likes me for some reason. I have no idea why. I mean, just specifically, I had to turn in some equipment, and I was put in charge because I was exiting the military. I was put in charge of a group of like misfits. There were like 10 guys that had to have paperwork done, and they would like get in trouble. Some of them were overweight. Some of them had all this stuff. So I had to get these guys up and take them to make sure to get their paperwork done, and also doing my own stuff. And at one point, I'm walking out, and the first sergeant comes over, and he's like, "Yo, Harp." They used to call me Harp in the Army. And I run over there and stand at parade rest because he's a first sergeant. He's like, "Oh, no, relax." He's like, did you turn in that equipment? Because they just called me and said that they're missing some equipment from you. I'm like, yes, first sergeant. I turned it in. He's like, yeah, I know you turned it in because you already told me you turned it in. I just need you to go down there and take whatever and get all that stuff straightened out. This guy believed me, trusted me for no reason. He doesn't even know me. He's been there about maybe 2 weeks. So it's like sometimes people like you for no reason. They don't even know you. Sometimes people hate you for no reason. Again, they don't know you. So is it the same personality thing to fight? Because I find myself just liking certain fighters, like Khamzat Chimaev. I have no idea. I see the guy, I'm like, before he even said a word, before he even fought, I'm like, I like that guy. Yeah. That's my guy right there.
You know, I'm not sure if this is exactly the same thing or an exact answer to the question that you're asking, but it might shed some light on potentially what could contribute to that. I'm not saying it's 100% the answer. I'm sure there's multiple things that go into you immediately, like casting that judgment on someone. But I do know that with people, like, as we are social animals, we have a lot of stuff that subconsciously, like happens. Our judgments of others. A lot of that is subconscious. It's not even something that we think about. It comes down to like body language or like the way that people like move their face, all stuff like that you don't really think about. It does have some sort of like value, like at least in your mind that you're not consciously aware of. I remember reading about it somewhere.
I think exactly right now to think about it. I'm gonna put him out. No, I'm not gonna say his name.
Sal D'Amato.
No, not Sal D'Amato. It sounds similar. The first sergeant, the first one. But not to sound like, too, what's the word, boastful. But I think it's the alpha male thing. The other first sergeant was a little bit tubby, a little bit skinny arm, a little bit out of shape. I think he saw me and he was intimidated. And then this first sergeant that liked me, this dude was an alpha male. Friggin', I think he was like a judo black belt or something. He was a beast. Friggin' big muscular guy, so nobody intimidated him. Yeah. So he could be nice to everybody. The other guy was a little bit not self-conscious. What's the word I'm looking for? He was a little bit insecure. Yeah. So anybody that put that insecurity in him, he didn't like. So I think you're exactly right. There's certain people just jive together.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, like, I'm sure if you asked the guy, he wouldn't have an answer, because if he has a judgment of you. Oftentimes, that's already something that's just like
he doesn't even know why. Yeah,
it could be something like insecurity. It could be a whole host of things, because like
could be trauma.
Yeah, he saw you. He was like, Like, someone was just like that guy.
You have to cut that. That's a jump cut. Oh, God. All right, let's get into a little bit of politics, a little bit of current events, because, today, later on, we got our guests in the interview section. We got, that's going to be the second half right here.
A lot more intellectual.
So we got a little politics here. I had an article that there was a guy from Pennsylvania arrested for threats to Donald Trump. I'm not sure what the article is on that, but just real quick, we want to cover this real quick. I find it strange that we have a presidential candidate, former president. This guy was shot in the ear.
Yeah.
You had a guy set up at the golf course, ready to kill him.
Damn, dude.
And nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It feels like that would be so much bigger of a deal, like, previously. Like, let's say, I've only been alive for 20 years, okay? But I was here for Obama and George W. Bush, right?
Yeah.
Before him. And I remember, I would see things in the media. For example, I knew about the Clinton thing. That, like, people were still talking about that. I knew about that. And that's not that big of a deal. So what if a brother wants to get, in the White House, dude? That's his secretary or whatever. That's his business. Why would that matter?
It's a family business.
That's family business. Yeah. What does that have to do with us, right? Whereas a president being actually shot at an event, people died.
Put it in perspective.
No one's talking about it.
Put it in perspective. We still talk. I was going to say JFK. We still talk about the Lincoln assassination.
Yeah.
We still talk. That is still an issue.
But, I suppose it might be the fact that he didn't actually die. I mean, Ronald Reagan, someone tried to assassinate him. No one talks about that, really.
We still discuss it a little bit. I mean, he was... The thing is, the big thing about Reagan was that he got shot and finished his speech.
Yeah.
We still talk about that. And that was the thing that showed, like, strength. Like, he had to finish that speech. I think if given Trump... Trump would have finished.
I give him some points, dude.
He would have finished his speech.
I'm not super into politics, but I did give him some points. The thing is, I can't take this stuff as seriously as maybe I should. I know it's not very American of me to be like, I don't really partake in this, but I did give him some points just because he got shot like in the ear. I think it grazed his ear more than anything.
They're gonna clip the ear, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it went through his ear. I think it kind of clipped the side. But you think
about it, I was in the military, right? That bullet was already in the ear before he moved his head because to travel the distance.
Yeah.
So that means that bullet was on his way to kill him, and that little turn, it went like that. So, I mean, imagine from here to here.
That's God saying. That's God saying. That's God's endorsement.
Well, that's God's endorsement. He got his endorsement.
Hey, we know his vote, but
yeah, but it's so crazy. Well, I don't want to get too deep into it because
this guy's been an atheist his entire life. Watching that one thing, he was like, God exists, man.
Okay, so. That's basically it, politics. Another thing I want to cover is I think a lot of politicians are too old.
Yeah.
It's too old. There's too many old people nowadays, and it's driving me insane.
Because Joe Biden, bro, come on. That guy was...
Not even Joe Biden. There was a lady on like CNN or something, and she said, the lady was obviously off her rocker. I don't know who she was. I don't know if she's Democrat. She might be a Democrat. She must be a Democrat because she was against Trump.
She doesn't know.
Yeah, she doesn't know either. But she was like, Trump said he's going to put us through internment camps. And the guy in the news was like, he said that? She's like, yes, he said that. And it's like, oh my God, no, he didn't. And lady, how old was it? She was like 80 years old. Like, who's electing these people? Now, I'm not saying we're all going to get older. We're all aging as it is, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being that, but it'll be like if I showed up for first day of middle school. It's like, okay, sir, we're not saying you're not a human being. We're not saying, you don't deserve respect, but there's a certain age people that belong in this building, and you're not that.
If you can't drive in either direction, too young or too old, you should not be like a politician.
Yes.
Actually, I saw there was like a 9-year-old woman driving. I've seen this multiple times.
90-year-old driving.
You know, my own grandfather did this, so I have a multitude of experiences with old people driving on the wrong side of the road, and this guy was only like 83.
Oh no!
I remember I was visiting my grandfather, and my mom told me like, "Oh, we need to get something. Go with your grandpa." And I had this feeling of dread. Like I was looking at him, I could see like those liver spots or whatever you call them, where they start like they're so old that they start getting like random spots. And I was like, oh, I think this might not. Just something told me. My intuition, my logic, something told me this is not a good idea. And at some point, he's supposed to be making a left. Like, you know how there's a road and then there's a road on the other side? You take a left into the further one. But he takes a left into the nearest one. He's driving on the wrong side of the road. And I was like, Grandpa, you're on the wrong side of the road. There's cars coming, like they're close. And he just goes over the what do you call it? The median? Yeah, the median. He goes right over the median, starts driving off. Didn't say a word about it. Just like, didn't say shit, just kept driving.
That's the thing about when people get too old too, man. Is that they get embarrassed.
Yeah.
They get embarrassed and they pretend it didn't happen. They just want to get off of it. And that's what this lady was like. She knew. Yeah. Because the thing is, so sometimes old people just say whatever is in their brain because it's like everything's not linked. Yeah. So she called Trump Hitler. Hitler had internment camps, so she just had that word was a trigger word. So she had to say that word. She said that word, and then she didn't know how to take it back. And the guy was like, and then she was just like, oh crap, I said a word. I have to stick with it. Yeah, he did say that. It's like,
to answer your question, like why these politicians are this old, or why are there so many of these politicians at that age? I think the biggest thing is there isn't that much of an involvement of people like my age when it comes to electing officials for like Congress.
No, you guys are used as pawns.
Yeah, I guess.
Because what I'm thinking is I would tell teachers all the time, and I swear they thought I was joking. I was like, you want all these kids to register to vote, right? You wouldn't even trust most of these kids to watch your cup of coffee if you left the room. Yeah. But you want them to make this important decision. And they'll be like, it's not a joke. Why is there such a push to get young people to vote when they don't know anything? You're the one who just told me yesterday that these kids are so immature, but you're running around trying to register to vote. Is it because they want to vote for the people you want to vote for? So you're using them as pawns.
I think, so I don't want to get too I don't want to sound like a doomer or anything. That's kind of a newer term, by the way.
Doomer?
Doomer, where you're like super cynical, like you're like, oh man, none of this matters, we're all gonna die. It's basically
nihilism.
Yeah. So, basically, what's happening is we're in an age where there's so much information like present. You can look up pretty much anything. You'll get an answer one way or another. The internet, Google's gonna tell you like just anything. You could pretty much look up anything and be informed on it. Have like a decent amount of information available at your fingertips at any time,
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's also like an age of ignorance, like I feel like politics has become like almost a sport. People want to support their side.
Yeah.
But it becomes only about the side and not really what the side represents.
They want their side to win.
So we spoke about this previously where people aren't voting, or especially people my age, they're not voting for someone who represents their policies. They're voting for someone that like fits their side, that's their team. I feel it's become more commercialized.
Have you ever seen those man on the street interviews where someone will give somebody a list of policies and said, do you believe in this one or this one? I'll believe in that one. And it's like, who do you think said that? Oh, it's probably Joe Biden. Yeah. It was actually Donald Trump. They have no idea.
Yeah, they don't know. It's again, it's like a sport. It's like a commercial kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like I'm rooting Dolphins, you're rooting Jets, and if Jets are playing, I'm against them because I'm not. And then I want your team to lose. That's just it.
Exactly. And dude, I don't know if you use Twitter or anything like that. I'm not calling it X. I'm sorry. I'm just not. It's been Twitter for like a decade. Dude, it's even worse. It's I feel like that's an exaggeration of how things are, and things are already bad. If you go on any social media, the team dynamic when it comes to beliefs, it's absurd. It's to an absurd degree. Like,
well, we'll have to touch on social media another time because that's a whole episode into itself. Yeah. But we got our guest here, so that's our introduction. Remember, this is episode 1, but hopefully this is up by. wide open, guys.